So today's video, we're talking about lateral training for hiking. Now, when it comes to the world of hiking, we all know we're not typically just going in straight lines. We're not just going forward and back and up and down, but there are a lot of situations on the trail where we are going a little bit more side to side. So typically this might come about when we're going up and down, big rocks, and we might not be able to step straight down. We have to go onto our side and lower ourselves down. Or it might be a situation when we're on scree or mud or snow and we're aware that our foot tends to slide out a little bit from beneath us. We need to catch it before we have a tumble. Or it might be a case of, when we're zigzagging along, a steep trail or up and down or whatever it may be. But as a hiker, it is pretty obvious that all hiking isn't just straight forward, straight back, or straight up or straight down. There is a lot of room for movement through there. And when it comes to our training, typically 99% of the training, it is sort of going in those really, really linear movements, whether it's forward or back, up or down. If you're doing a lunge, a squat, a deadlift, it's all very, very straight movements. And it does make sense when you think about it to maybe in our training do a little bit of extra side to side movement and develop the body in those sort of movements so we can be a little bit more comfortable on the trail. Now, to be very, very clear, some people take this way, way, way too far and they do all their training doing really weird movements and lateral movements, rotational movements and all of that. And that is definitely not necessary. And I would say the majority of your training should be this traditional strength training where, you're doing lunges and deadlifts and glute bridges up and down, forward and back, because that stuff is really, really, really beneficial. There's no doubt about that. But saying that, if you do have the time and you do have the inclination, it's probably worthwhile spending a little bit of time training some of this side-to-side movement. So when you are in the trail in these situations, the muscles responsible for this can be a little bit stronger, a little bit happier, a little bit more stable, and keep you a little bit more comfortable. So essentially today I'm going to be showing you 3 really, really simple exercises which you can incorporate into your week, into your training, which you can sort of start to develop this side-to-side movement. And you can start to teach the joints to stabilize when you're in these positions. You can start strengthening up some of the muscles that may be missed in traditional strength movements, such as the inner thigh and other bits and pieces like that. And it can be a really, really good way just to round out a hiker's strength training program. Now, these exercises, they're all progressions on each other. So you'd essentially start on the first exercise, do that for a few weeks until you're happy, then move up to the next version, do that for a few weeks, then move up to the next version, do that for a few weeks. And then once you're happy with all that, then you go back to the first one and start loading in a bit of weight, either weight with a dumbbell, a barbell, load a pack, or whatever it may be. But hopefully this video can give you a few ideas around these exercises, hopefully give you a bit of insight into how to incorporate this into your training, and hopefully this will help you on the trail.
So the first exercise here is what's known as the lateral split squat. Now in this position, you're going to start off with quite a wide stance with your toes pointing very, very slightly outwards. Now from here, you're going to slowly and in controlled lower down into one knee, bending the knee, loading up that quad and that glute, and really, really keeping it slow on the way down. Slight pause at the bottom and then push up to center. Now to get the most out of this exercise, just make sure the opposite leg is nice and straight and you are doing this slow and controlled. Now you may not be able to get quite as deep when you're doing this as compared to this demonstration. That's absolutely fine. Just go down as far as you're comfortable with, and over time you can improve it. Now the second variation, we're going to be doing a lateral lunge. Now in this variation, we're going to start standing in the center and we're going to step out and into that lateral position and go down into that quad and that glute. Now this is quite a significant step up because we're basically teaching the body to absorb force through this motion. There's a little bit more coordination involved and it is quite a bit more difficult. Now again, with this one, like the previous version, keep that opposite leg nice and straight and then load up the quad and the glutes on the way down and really feel them take the force as you come down. Again, just go down as far as you're comfortable with, and over time, as you get a little bit more looser, a little bit more mobile, you can go a little bit deeper. And then the third and final variation, and this is quite a significant step up, is doing the same thing on a slider. Now, if you don't have access to a slider, you can also use a towel on a hardwood floor or a magazine on the carpet. And essentially with this, one leg is sliding out. You're going very, very, very slow on the outward portion. Little pause at the end point, and then slow on the way in. You'll notice straight away that this is a big step up in difficulty from the previous version, and you'll notice the quads and the glutes are working pretty significantly on the bent leg, but also the inner thigh is working pretty significantly on the straight leg. So with this one, just keep it slow, keep it controlled, and it can be very, very effective.
So there you go, 3 really simple lateral exercises for hikers. Now, essentially, I would recommend slotting one of these into your strength training somewhere into your week, repeating that for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it may be, until you get bored. Once you're feeling comfortable with that, then move up to the next version, do that for a few weeks, then move up to the next version, do that for a few weeks. And once you're happy with that, go back to the first version and start to load it up with a little bit of weight, and simply just work through that, and it can be very effective. Now, as I said previously, you don't need to get absolutely carried away with this type of training. It doesn't have to take up your whole sessions. You don't have to think about every single exercise has to be going through different movements like this, but putting a little bit of this into your training program can go quite a long way. So if you do have any questions off that, please do let me know. Now, if you sort of like the idea of this and you're like, you know what, Rowan, this sounds good. I like the idea of specifically training for hiking. I like the idea of developing strength and stability to help me in these different situations on the trail. And I like the idea of taking this training that I typically do and really honing into the things that I love actually getting out hiking. If you like this and you want a little bit of help developing this into a bit more of a comprehensive approach, so not just a couple of exercises, but a full-blown program to get you fit, strong, and as pain-free as possible for your hiking. If you do want to learn a little bit more about that and get a little bit of help, essentially you can check out my online personal training program for hikers at summitstrength.com.au/online. Now on there, that's my website. You can have a read through one of my programs, see if it's something that maybe interests you or maybe fit into your week. And if you want to learn a little bit more, there's a contact form there. You can reach out and we can find a time to chat through it on a little bit more detail. So if you were looking for a little bit extra help, check that out. Hopefully it'll give you a bit of info and hopefully that'll get you on the right steps. So thank you so much for watching this today. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you got some insight out of it. Any questions, do let me know, and have a good day. Bye.